Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to today's morning class. Today we'll be discussing from Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 6, verse 41, and the chapter is entitled The Glories of Śrī Advaita Ācārya. And we are in the part of the chapter where we are learning the relationship between Lord Caitanya and Advaita Ācārya, and how Lord Caitanya reverse Advaita Ācārya so much in this chapter. And we're very happy to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami with us. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada and all glories to you, Maharaj.
Haribo, glories to Prabhupada. Glories to the devotees. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda, laukika-līlāte dharma-maryādā-rakṣaṇa, stuti-bhaktye karena tāṅra, vandana. To maintain the proper etiquette for the principles of religion, Lord Caitanya bowed down at the lotus feet of Śrī Advaita Ācārya with reverential prayers and devotion. Verse 42. Caitanya Gosandike Acharya Ara Prabhu Vyana Apanake karena tāṅra dasa abhimana. Śrī Advaita Ācārya, however, considers Lord Caitanya his master, and he thinks of himself as the servant of Lord Caitanya, Mahaprabhu. Purport. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Rupa Goswami explains the super excellent quality of devotional service as follows. Ramanando bhaved esa chet parada gune kritaha naiti bhakti sukham bodhe paramanu tulam mapi. If multiplied billions of times, the transcendental pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman realization still could not compare to even an atomic portion of the ocean of bhakti of transcendental service. That's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.38. Similarly, the Bhavarta Deepika states, Tvat kamamrita padodo viharanto mahamudaha Gurvanti kritina kechit chaturvargam trinopamam. For those who take pleasure in the transcendental topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the four progressive realizations of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, all combined together, cannot compare any more than a straw could to the happiness derived from hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord. Those engaged in the transcendental service of the lotus feet of the Lord, the lotus feet of Krishna, being relieved of all material enjoyment, have no attraction for topics of impersonal monism. In the Padma Purana, in connection with the glorification of the month of Kartik, it is said that devotees pray, Varam Devam Moksha Na Moksha Vadim Viva Varam Devam Moksha Na Moksha Vadim Va Nachayam Vrindaham Vares Varenam Varam Deva Moksha Na Moksha Vinvana Chara Vinde Varesa Apiham Idam Te Vapurnata Gopa Balam Sadame Manastavirastu Kim Anyayi Kurura Majo Bhaktamurtaya Yadvat Yato Mochito Bhakti Bhajam Vito Cha Tata prema bhakting swakam me priyacham namoksha graham me sti damodareha. My dear Lord, always remembering your childhood pastimes in Vrindavan is better for us than aspiring to merge into the impersonal Brahman. During your childhood pastimes, you liberated the two sons of Kovera and made them great devotees of your lordship. Similarly, I wish that instead of giving me liberation, you may award me such devotion unto you. Nahaya Sirsya Sri Narayan Vyuha Stava. In the chapter called Narayan Stotra, it is stated, the dharma kaman artava bhokshava devasyar artaye tava padam jay dasyam eva mitkam manye. My dear Lord, I do not wish to become a man of religion or a master of economic development or sense gratification, nor do I wish for liberation. Although I have all these from you, the supreme bestower of benedictions, I do not pray for any of these. I simply pray that I may always be engaged as a servant at your lotus feet. The Shringadev offered Prahlad Maharaj all kinds of benedictions. Prahlad Maharaj did not accept any of them, for he simply wanted to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, a pure devotee wishes to be blessed like Prahlad Maharaj by being thus endowed with devotional service. Devotees also offer their respects to Hanuman, who always remained a servant of Lord Rama. The great devotee Hanuman prayed, Bhava Bandha Chidatasya Spriyayamina Murktaye Bhavam Prabhu Aham Dasa Iti Yatra Vilupyate. I do not wish to take liberation or merge into Brahman effulgence, where the conception of being a servant of the Lord is completely lost. Similarly, in the Narada Pancharatrika, it is stated, Dharmata kama moksheshu nechuk mama kadachana tvam pada panchayas yadyo jivatam diyatam mama. I do not want any of the four desirable stations. I simply want to engage as a servant of the lotus feet of the Lord. King Kulashekar, in his famous book Mukunda Mala Stotra, prays, Naham Varatava Chanayo Dwadam Madwadam Heto Kumbi Pakam Gurum Apihara Naratanapanetum Ramya Ravam Murdatana Lakta Nandade Nambirantum Bhave Bhave Hridayam Bhavana Bhavayayam Bhavatam. My Lord, I do not worship you to be liberated from this material entanglement, nor do I wish to save myself from the hellish condition of material existence, nor do I ever pray for a beautiful wife to enjoy in a nice garden. I wish only that I may always be in full ecstasy with the pleasure of serving your lordship. Yeah. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, there are many instances in the third and fourth canto in which devotees pray to the Lord simply to be engaged in his service and nothing else. And there's a listing here from the third canto, fourth canto of different verses. Om Gyantimidandasya Gnana Saakaya Chaksun Militam Yela Tasmai Shri Rupaya Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Statitam Yeda Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kedammayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Panchakopa Tarubhyascha Vipa Sindhu Pevacha Titanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Ācārya Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the comparison is being made to anything else or to everything else that devotional service simply dims or shows the insignificance of any other boon that one may achieve, even life in the heavenly planets for millions of years. Devotional service to the Lord, or the opportunity to engage in devotional service to the Lord, is the jewel of the relationship that develops with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotees don't want anything else but to serve. And there are many prayers, especially about Prahlad Maharaj, where Lord Nrsimhadev had offered him so many benedictions just to thank him for his wonderful devotion. But Prahlad said, I'm not a merchant. I don't worship you for anything except the opportunity to serve you. So this is bhakti. Bhakti is so satisfying, so pleasing, and that can be compared to anything else, anywhere and throughout all of the universes, than to have the opportunity to engage in devotional service to the Lord. Just give me the opportunity I can serve Janmani Janmani Ishwari. Lord Caitanya prays, Nadanam Najanam Nasundaram Pavitam Vajagadisha Kamari Manma Janmani Janmani Ishware Bhavatad Bhakti Hoituki Toyi. I don't want all of these benedictions that everyone else finds so glorious, such as followers, immense amounts of wealth, the association and service of beautiful women, nor do I want to be known as a great orator of this Vedic knowledge. I'm simply happy to serve you. And if I have to come back to life after life, then I am even more satisfied, because to serve you means to fulfill all of my desires perfectly and completely. It says that the servant of the king also enjoys on the same level as the king. The king also gives the servant so many benedictions that the servant doesn't have, but because he's connected with the king, he has many privileges that the king also allows him to have, because he is doing service for the king. So Krishna is the king of all kings. The Supreme Lord is the supreme principle of all existence. And to have the opportunity to serve the Lord, or to serve those who are serving the Lord, it's even considered to be higher. And Janmani, what is it? Das, Anudas. Kopir Bhatter Padakamayor, Das, Anudas. Lord Caitanya prays in the same way many times, servant of the servant of the servant. So this is the happiness of a devotee. This is mentioned throughout the scriptures. Devotional service cannot compare to liberation, or liberation cannot compare to devotional service. Any material benediction, even spiritual benedictions, long life on so many planets with all of the opulences that one can imagine, does not even, it pales in front of devotional service. So this is the desire of devotee. Let me serve you life after life, if I have to. And in this life, I don't want to ask for anything but the opportunity to engage in your service. So for those of us who haven't realized what is being explained here, it's an eye-opener, because many of us might think, yes, devotional service is nice, but there are so many other great opportunities to gain so much materially and spiritual. And when the Lord is pleased with a devotee, he also benedicts the devotee with a lot of these other things, but the devotee is not interested in that. Sometimes, just like we have the example of Kulavechar Sridhar, Caitanya Mahaprabhu always kept himself hidden as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one time, he opened up the ocean of nectar, and at the house of Srivas Thakur, he took the position of being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he said to the devotees, worship me. The devotees became so ecstatic, because he's always been saying that, I am not God, nor should you see me as God. And even those who knew he was God, they weren't allowed to express that in any way. But now he's coming out as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they worshipped him so nicely. And they offered tons of boga, also gave him abhishek, and dressed him in brand new clothes, put him he was on the altar. He took the shalagrams off the altar, sat on the altar, put the shalagrams on his lap. And Nityananda and Dvaita were holding, one was fanning Lord Caitanya, the other one was holding a parasol over his head. And they were singing the Gaur Arti song. That's where that Gaur Arti song came from. That particular pastime was called the Mahaprakash Lila. 21 hours that the Lord took the position of the Supreme Lord and was accepting worship, but at one point he was also responding to the devotees by asking each and every one of them, take a benediction from me. No one asked for anything material, no one asked for anything personal. They only asked for the benefit of others, or they asked, simply give me devotional service to you. At one point, Lord Caitanya said, find Sridhar. Nobody could remember who Sridhar was. So the Lord said, you just go in that direction and call his name. So Sridhar was Kolavech. Kolavech means banana salesman. So he used to sell banana cups, banana leaves, and banana cups, leaves, and plates, banana plates. And he would take half of the profits that he made, half of the prices that he made, and he would give it to the worship of the Ganges, and he would somehow live on a little bit. He was very poor, he was happy. And Lord Caitanya would come every day and tease him and ask, how much are you charging for these banana cups and plates? And he would give a price. The Lord said, you're cheating the Brahmanas. And Sridhar would say, no, you can go anywhere. You won't find any price better than this. And then Lord Caitanya says, someday I'm going to show the whole world you have a large amount of wealth, but you're hiding that wealth. No, what you see is what I am. No, and then Lord Caitanya said, someday. So he would tease him, argue with him, and chide him in so many different ways. Sometimes he would say, how much is this? And then he would take a price, and he said, well, actually, I'm not going to give you anything. I'm just going to take it. So the Lord would play with him like that. And because he didn't know it was the Lord, he was thinking he was just a beautiful Brahmana with so many wonderful qualities, he was attracted. So he wouldn't persist in arguing with the Lord, and he would give the Lord whatever he wanted. And so one time during that Leela, he asked the devotees to find Sridhar, so they went. When Sridhar heard his name called, he came, and he would say, who's calling me? And so the devotees led him to the house of Srivas, and then he saw that same Brahmana. Now he understood he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he fell down in ecstasy. unconscious. When he got up, the Lord was smiling and said, Srihar, Srihar, you have been my devotee for many lives. So I want to give you a benediction. Take whatever you ask, anything you want from me. Whatever you ask, it is yours. Sridhar said, I'm happy. I don't want anything. No, no, you can have a nice wife. You can have an island to yourself. You can have your own planet if you want. And Sridhar finally responded. He said, my dear Lord, I'm happy. Why are you giving me all of this trouble? So he was saying that all of these benedictions were just a big burden. That's all. So finally, the Lord gave up and said, all right, well, ask for something. He said, all right, my dear Lord, if you want to give me some life after life, come in that, the beautiful form of that Brahmana and harass me for my cups and plates. The Lord was so pleased. And so, yeah, so this is just one of many indications of great souls who are so satisfied just serving the Lord that anything else will simply be a botheration like that. So this is devotional service, because devotional service is the nature of the soul's existence. When the soul is engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Supreme Soul, that soul becomes fully satisfied and happy in all situations. So therefore, here it even mentions this is a nice verse. I remember this verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. If you multiply billions of times the transcendental pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman realization, still could not compare to even an atomic portion of the ocean of bhakti. Bhakti is like a transcendental ocean of unlimited happiness. And anyone who is engaged in serving the Lord is the most fortunate of persons who are considered to be fortunate. So this is devotional service. We hanker simply for service. Let me serve you, let me please you by my service. Give me an opportunity to serve. Give me an opportunity to associate with the other devotees who are also serving you. This is the happiness, this is the desire of a devotee who knows, who is tasting the position of being the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Nothing to ask for, only service. When Srila Prabhupada was asked by us, his disciples, he was explaining that I never asked my spiritual master anything, but I did ask him one question: how can I serve you? And when he responded, he said, take this knowledge of transcendental, of Lord Caitanya's mission to the Western countries. He heard that in 1922, but then after being with his spiritual master on and off as a grihasta, he asked the same thing again in 1936. And then he got the same answer. Take this knowledge of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission of compassion to the Western countries. So he asked, and every time he asked, he simply got the same answer. Spread Krishna consciousness around the world. And he did. He made it his life and soul. So what was his? And Prabhupada had to undergo much physical austerities, many difficulties, reverses, but he stayed fixed in devotional service because he understood this will satisfy my spiritual master. This will give benedictions to the population of the world. he never deviated from his service, nor did he ever get discouraged in his service. At times he expressed the difficulties that he was having with devotional service, but just to give an indication that it's not always so easy to engage in devotional service. There are difficulties, there are reverses, there are disappointments, there are opposite results, but still, the devotee accepts all of these as the mercy of the Lord and continues to go engage in devotional service. So a devotee doesn't ask anything else. Give me this, give me that. If I serve you, what will you give me? You'll give me more service, that's all. So that is the position of a Vaishnava. Always wants to serve. Wants to serve, but he wants to serve in such a way that the object of service is pleased, not just to serve like that. Okay, and this whole purport is simply that same point over and over again, and there are many examples of great souls simply praying for devotional service. They don't pray for anything material. They never ask the Lord for anything but service. Sometimes they ask the Lord, please arrange whatever I need to serve you, and the Lord will do that also. So it's all about, because that's our nature. If we're not serving the Supreme Lord or not serving in devotion, we'll be serving in this material world. We can't get away from the principle of service. We serve our family, we serve our friends, we serve our country, we serve so many different things we serve our mind. And if we don't serve anything, we keep an animal to serve a dog or a parrot. Everyone is trying to serve something because we can't get away from service. But the service that is executed in the material world, people are looking for some reciprocation from that service. But devotees get reciprocation from Krishna, that they become happy, they can become satisfied, and they get more service. And if you're in ISKCON, there's no limit to service. You never think, what am I going to do now? You're thinking, which of the services am I going to do now? It's always nectar. And that's the Lord's mercy. He sees the devotee wants to serve, and so he arranges devotees to have more opportunities to serve. So this is the happiness of a devotee. This is the perfection of a devotee's life. And by perfecting one's devotional service, one goes back to the spiritual world where they eternally again serve the Lord in devotion. So Prabhupada used the example of a wheat husking machine. It's called a deki, wheat husking machine. What does it do? Take the wheat husking machine and you put it in the material world, it'll husk wheat. You take it and you bring it to the heavenly planets, it husks wheat. Wherever you put it, it does the same thing. So a devotee is like that. Wherever the devotee is, he's serving or she's serving. Yeah. Service, service, service. And please give me more service. Although I have much service, I'm always thinking, how can I do more? How can I do better in my devotional service? And the examples are innumerable throughout the scriptures. Here there's at the end of the purport, there's a reference for at least 6 or 7 different verses. Let's see here at the very end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 verses just on the very end of the purport. And then, of course, throughout this purport, there are also many other references. Yeah. So yeah, it's all about devotional service. Okay. Okay, we can stop there and
Thank you so much, Marge, for really stressing on this point and speaking about devotional service. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to request devotees wherever you're at, if you could please turn on your videos. Marge, if I can request, Marge, if you could tilt your screen a little bit so we can see you completely. Yeah, thank you so much, Marge. Thank you. Again, wherever you're at, if you can please turn on your videos if you can. It you don't in wherever you're at, just turn it on. That way we can have each other's association. March, and again, if you have questions, please do raise your hand, or you can put in the chat, and I'll be happy to read it. For March. March, when you were speaking about service, March, we have also been. It's such a beautiful topic, and deep, deep topic. We have been told that even when we chant the Maha Mantra, we are asking for service. But what happens, Marge, is when we get service, even though that's part of the chanting of the holy name, we hesitate. How can we overcome that hesitation, Maraj?
by realizing that the greatest benediction that one can receive is the mercy of the opportunity to engage in devotional service. All of your desires are fulfilled, and the perfection of life is achieved through devotional service. To understand, at least theoretically, those who are engaged in devotional service, they don't need the theoretical encouragement. They're tasting it, they're happy. But for those who haven't, who think that service is work or something that is extra in my life, and if I have time, I'll do it, they don't understand the nature of the spiritual realm. Because material service is arduous, sometimes difficult, and people don't appreciate whatever you do in the same way. Or you're trying to gain something through the activities you perform in the material world, through serving different categories of people. You're always looking for some fruit of activity, some benefit, but devotional service is satisfying. The service itself satisfies the devotee, and not even the results. The results are extra. Devotee's happy just to serve. Because it's actually our constitutional nature, our conditioned nature is to engage in service for some material results, some material benedictions. But our constitutional nature is to serve the Lord, to serve the Lord's devotees. As you mentioned, the holy name, when we chant, we're asking for service. And if you're so busy in service, you have no time for Maya, and therefore you're free from the effects of material literacy.
Yes.
Himanshi, we can't see you. Your thing is kind of down. Yeah, there you go. Oh, no, not that way. Don't go upside down. Yeah.
Is it okay, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah. Yamini, we can only see half of you. Karangi Priya, or you're also a half person. Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So yeah, it comes back to our constitutional position. Through service, we fulfill all of our desires for success and happiness in life. Because it's our nature. It's our nature to serve. We can't get away from service. Even in the material world, people are serving, but they're motivated, and sometimes the objects that they serve are not very pleasing, but they're looking for some material gain, so they accept that service.
Thank you, Marge. It's such a deep topic. I definitely have more questions to ask, but I really want to give the other devotees a chance. Sridevi, you're next. Go ahead.
Hare
She-
Krishna, please accept. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, speak very slowly or else your internet will crack. And speak slowly.
Okay. Please accept my humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, when we talk of devotional service, I remember, I think just a few weeks ago in one class, you mentioned that those who take up paid services at the temple, that's not really devotional service. And they may not even be aware of it. They may be thinking, I'm engaging in devotional service. Yes, I have need of some Lakshmi. And so it's okay. I'm taking up this service and I'm getting paid. But then their actual devotional life will not take off because this is not devotional service. So I'm concerned about how these devotees will know whether they're doing the right thing or wrong thing by taking up paid services at different temples.
They give justifications for it, but Rupa Goswami's definition doesn't change because of people's ideas. Devotional service is free from fruit of gain or philosophical gain through gain through philosophical knowledge. It's for Krishna and with a desire to please Krishna. So yeah, if you're getting paid, that's not bhakti, that's karma.
But there are so many temples all over the world, they even advertise, we have a position open as pujari, you will be taken care of, you will be paid a stipend, this, that, like that. And so many people, they import pujaris from other parts of the world to carry out the services.
Prabhupada said if you're preaching, then management will follow preaching as the shadow follows the person. Because they're not preaching enough or not preaching at all, they're looking to fill positions like that. So if you preach, money comes. If you preach, the people will come also. Preaching brings everything in. So they compromise the preaching. Like they continue to do preaching, but they make it in the form of more like a business. It's unfortunate, yeah. There's a few sannyasis who are very adamant, speaking out very heavily against this, but nobody listens anyway. Yeah. I mean, Prabhupada's statement, if you preach, everything will manifest. Yeah. I know one temple that does a lot of kirtan. And because they do a lot of kirtan, they never have any shortages of manpower. They never have any shortage of finances. Everything comes because they're always glorifying the Lord. They're having kirtan every day, every night, 2-3 hours a night. And on festivals, they have kirtans throughout the whole day. It's kirtan. If you chant the holy names, Krishna will send more things than you can possibly use.
Hope that helps, Sridevi.
Yes, thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. My
Hare
obeisance.
Krishna. Srimati, you're next.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. I have a question on the service part. So when we are doing any service to any devotee, so what type of mood we should have? Like, we should always inquire like what actually they require instead of doing the service on our own mind, with our own mind, using our own mind. Like we think that this service should be in a particular way. That's why we do like this. But actually the need is different. So what is the actual way to do a service to a particular devotee or thing?
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example. He says, if you invite someone for lunch, you ask them, what do you like? And then you cook what they like. Rather than just cooking whatever you want to cook and then invite them, ask them what they like, cook that for preparation, and then you'll please the person that way. So he gives a very simple example. So find out what Krishna likes, or how Krishna is served nicely by his pure devotees, and follow in that same, follow in those footsteps. You want to do a service, but you want to do the service in the best way that is beneficial for the object who you're serving and for everyone who's involved. So we have to think, or we have to inquire, either one, how best to serve in every situation. If you know, then fine. If you don't know, then find out.
Yes. And also, I heard in the Srila Prabhupada lecture that Krishna will be pleased when we give importance to the devotees directly, instead of like I'm busy with Krishna's service. Now I'm not focusing on devotees. So Krishna will not be pleased. I heard that in Srila Prabhupada lecture, Guru Maharaj.
Not separate from his devotees. When you talk about Krishna, just like Prabhupada says, when you talk about a king, the king is never alone. He's always with his ministers, secretaries, military forces. He doesn't come alone. So when we're, you never see pictures of Krishna alone. Even if he's not with any person, he's with cows or deer. He's never alone. So it's Krishna and his devotees.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nice question, Srimati. Thank you. Marj, there's a question in the chat from Rasa Vilasini, rather. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All the Shishur Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev and the assembled devotees. Maharaj, as we come closer to Krishna, Maya Devi becomes stronger and creates situations, material situations, that push us away from him. As we are in the conditioned state, in those situations, even when we don't want to ask anything from the Lord, we feel forced to ask. Yet from the heart, nothing really comes out. We don't actually desire to ask anything. How can we remain fixed amidst such inner conflicts with no desire except to serve and please the spiritual master?
Well, sometimes these obstacles are opportunities to make greater efforts in our devotional service. We can see them like that. We don't give up the service, but we think. We also pray to the Lord, I'm trying to serve you. Please give me the intelligence, the ability, or even the facility to engage nicely in your service. So we can pray for the opportunity and whatever else we need to serve. It's not wrong to pray like that. But these obstacles many times are simply ways that we can go deeper into our mood of surrender. And because sometimes these obstacles they appear because we still have some material attachment, and we're bringing that material attachment into our service. Just like I'm doing this service, and I want to be appreciated. I want to be appreciated for the service. I want people to say, Jai, nice service, wonderful, you did great. Haribo, here's your garland. So yeah, so if you're looking for some reciprocation in service, sometimes you run into an obstacle. That obstacle is only our own mentality. And Krishna will just do that sometimes to help you get rid of that obstacle, or to make the service difficult until you get rid of the wrong attitude. And what is it? Want to be famous for service, want to be glorified for service, want to be noticed for service, want to be given some position because of service. There's this pastime in the life of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's sannyasis, wherein one very senior sannyasi went out for preaching, and it was a big program. There were thousands of people there. And he gave such a powerful lecture that at the end, people were standing and clapping in happiness, and it went on for a long time. I mean, everyone really loved what he said. It was powerful. And so at the end, he was coming back to the ashram, and he was thinking, I deserve to get some really nice prasadam. So when he was thinking about that, he was going to come back and arrange to get some special prasadam, something he really liked. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati became aware of what was happening, and he said, who does he think he is? He's serving, and he's thinking, I need some reward for my service. You might think that's an innocent thing, but actually, it's a kind of an attachment. I'm doing nice service. I deserve something in return.
Hope that helped, Rasavilasani, but that was a very nice question. Thank you. Amritanam, go ahead. You're next.
Service itself is satisfying when you do it for the pleasure of the object you're trying to serve. It's the mood of service that satisfies us, not just the service.
Amritanam, go ahead.
Hi Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Kumar, my question is related to prayers and desires to Lord. When we pray to Lord and when we make a desire to Lord, it might happen that usually when Krishna fulfills our desire or answers our prayers, they're not in a way that we expected. It is always in a way that He gives us. And most of the time, it's not readily acceptable for a devotee to handle in a way how Krishna gives us. So we do pray, we do desire, but then when Krishna reciprocates, it's difficult for us even to relish the result.
No, you shouldn't think it's difficult. You should expect whatever Krishna gives. That's the best. Even it's not up to the expectation that we're looking for. And work with that. Krishna is not there to fulfill our desire. He's simply there to reciprocate our service.
Marge, I think you hit it right on the nail, Marge, because sometimes we expect Krishna to fulfill our desires through prayer. And I think that's the key point, Marge.
Well, if that prayer is beneficial to your spiritual advancement or it's helpful, just like it says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you can't chant attentively unless you pray to chant attentively. He makes that, it's an absolute statement. No one can chant attentively unless they actually pray for before you chant or even during your chant, to chant attentively. Even if you try to chant attentively, if you're not praying for that, you won't reach that attentive chanting. So we pray for that because that's the way that we can develop our chanting nicely. My dear Lord, I'm trying to serve you. I don't know exactly how to do it, but please give me the intelligence on how best to serve. You can pray like that. Krishna reciprocates our sincere prayers because that puts us dependent on his mercy. And when we become depending on his mercy, we're in the element of bhakti then. If we're dependent on our abilities, then we may sometimes find things turn out different than what we expected. Sometimes it feels like when we do some sincere service, there's no reciprocation at all. That also may be like that. Even though there's no motivation for anything other than service, still, Krishna doesn't reciprocate. That's why Rupa Goswami says, Utsahan Nischayat Daryat. Daryat means patience. The results may not come immediately, but they'll come.
Hope that helped.
Yes, personally, I always observe that Krishna always reciprocates. It's just a matter that we observe it carefully, or maybe it's a matter of time, but he does reciprocate.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And if he doesn't reciprocate, that's also reciprocation. But you can't see, we have an idea of how he should reciprocate, and it doesn't come accordingly. We think he doesn't reciprocate.
we should have the faith so much that if he's not giving us what is expected by us, that means it is not necessary for us.
I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention to it. I got diverted. What were you saying?
So when it happens that Krishna is not giving us as per our expectations, or we should ideally not expect, but if
you'll never be disappointed if you don't expect anything. You just serve, that's all. Do your best to serve, that's all. Don't put any expectations or desired results on your service. Sometimes we try, like we go out on book distribution, we want people to take the books. So we're working in such a way as to get the reciprocation from others, so they buy the books. So we're trying for some kind of result. But at the same time, we're not attached to that. We're more attached to the service. The result may come or not come. We may even have a preconceived idea on what the result should be and how it should come. But it doesn't mean if it doesn't come, we lose our enthusiasm. We continue to serve despite results or no results. Karmani varikadaste ma phalechu kadachana ma karma phalahetur bor mate sangos sakarmani. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the results of activities. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. From Bhagavad Gita 247.
Thank you, Amritanam. Go ahead.
Gurmaharaj, even if it's the relationship with Krishna, is expectation not natural even with Krishna? Or is expectation is the material thing, is something material?
I'm sorry, I couldn't catch everything you said. It got a little garbled there.
Okay, so even if the relationship with Krishna, when we are considering our relationship with Krishna, is expectation natural or expectation is something material only?
Expectation is natural, but you shouldn't be attached to it. You might be expecting the wrong thing. Sometimes, because of your attitude, he's not reciprocating because the attitude is not properly. Like sometimes if you are doing your service and you're offending somebody in your service, that service is not pleasing to the Lord. Like, for instance, sometimes we go into the crowded temple, there's so many people there. So we're walking and then someone is pushing people out of the way so we can walk. So they're just causing some discomfort to others in the name of serving. So that kind of service obviously is not very pleasing.
Got it, Gurmaharaj.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
example.
Thank you. This topic is stirring up a lot of questions, Marge, which is really, really nice because we got a few more in the chat.
Maybe 15 minutes more before we have to end the class. So.
Sure, Marge, no problem. I'm going to go through, I got two more here and then I'll come to Krishna Kaviraj. Marge, there's a question from Daria where she's asking, how do we know that we are she has three parts. So do you want me to go to all the three parts, Marge, or one part at a time?
Well, one at a time.
I thought so. Okay. How do we know that we are practicing devotional service?
If you're following the instructions of the spiritual master, then that is the understanding. He's telling you how to serve, and then you ask questions of how to serve, get those questions answered by your local authorities if you're not under authority, and learn how to do the service properly. That's all.
Her second question, Marge, is since we might not perform pure devotional service, does it lead to any karma?
No, any kind of devotional service doesn't produce karma. But the results will be mixed. As the offering is mixed, the results will be mixed.
And her last question, Marge, is how can we develop the sincere mood of service?
By associating with sincere devotees and hearing from them, serving them, learning the process of bhakti, like that. If you listen to Prabhupada every day, then he clarifies what's service, what's not service, what's bhakti, what's not bhakti, how to use our time and energy in the best possible way. He gives philosophical knowledge, he gives practical understanding, he gives everything. Prabhupada's lectures are holistic, covers everything. Not everyone, but as a collection of lectures, you'll find everything you need by hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Or you can hear from your own spiritual master, or you can hear from those who you're serving with. There's so many channels where you can get the proper understanding to know how best to serve in each and every situation. And then, of course, it comes down sometimes in certain situations, you just have to use your intelligence and work according to how you think the service should be done in the best possible way, in the proper mood, like that.
Thank you, Marge. Another question from a question from Rishabhadas is, how much do we need to be peaceful to practice devotional service properly, or is that important? Peace of mind.
About peacefulness, it's being detach from the results of your activities. Serve for the sake of service. That's a quality that brings detachment. Detachment brings peacefulness. When you're attached, you're never peaceful. But if you're attached to spiritual results, that kind of attachment is good. But it's not something that inspires you to continue or not continue. You remain, the results belong to Krishna. You're trying to chant your rounds in the best possible way. You're using all of your intelligence to approach the holy name in the proper way. You're setting up the environment. So you do your best, that's all. And then the rest is up to Krishna. Krishna sees your sincerity, not so much your expertise. If you're sincere and you want to please him and you want to make progress in devotional service and you're following the principles that are given, then that is satisfying. That is being received. That is being accepted. Just do your best. That's all.
Thank you, Maharaj. And Krishna Kaviraj, you're next.
Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, I was trying to practice self-observance, and I found that when I was engaged in devotional service and everything was nice and calm and peaceful, of course there were blips of disturbances, but then we just try and push them away and focus more. But then I found it was almost like we're living in two completely different universes, because the moment, for some reason, the mind stops engaging in thinking or serving or doing anything related to Krishna, and then you feel itchy and you feel, I've got to do this, that, and the other, and it's just like the mind's restless and it's horrible. And then I find I somehow saw a picture of Krishna and go, oh my Krishna, this is what I want. And it seems like in a second, you can go from a happy world to the horrible world. And in a second, you can go back from the horrible world to the happy world. And there's no in between. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, it's the mind, that's all. Chanchala mind is flickering. But learning how the first principle in devotional service is to control the mind and senses, and to direct the mind and senses to the activities of bhakti. Manasa, what is it? Manasa Vegam. What's the first one?
Vacho Vegam, Guru Maharaj.
Huh? Bacho Vegam, Manasa Soda Vegam, Upasta Vegam, like that. Vegams means pushings. So these pushings will there. Pushings of the mind, pushing of anger, pushing of speech, pushing of the tongue, genitals, and belly. They push. They're called urges or vegams. Controlling those pushings and directing them towards devotional service. That's the first principle of executing devotional service. That's the first step in how to proceed nicely on the path of devotional service. And the mind is very strong, and it does what it wants when it wants. So learning how to deal with that mind by directing it in the way that it's connected to Krishna and devotional service. You have to control the mind, not be controlled by the mind.
Guru Maharaj, why is it that sometimes the pushing makes you want to focus even harder, and other times it just makes you feel worse?
Well, it depends on the strength of the pushing. Some of us are more inclined to give in to certain pushings than others. Some people can't shut up for a minute, so they just want to talk. You ask them a simple question and they give you a PhD dissertation as an answer, Speech should be, what does it say? What's that adage? True eloquence, speech spoken. What is that? I can't think of it now.
Truth spoken concisely is true eloquence.
Yes, speech spoken concisely is true elegance.
You have said this before, Guru Maharaj. I'm simply repeating.
Yeah, so that's one way to control the speech. Think. Learn how to say everything you want to say in the least amount of words. So that's one way to monitor the speech and then direct it towards speaking about Krishna, speaking about devotional service. The mind keeps telling you what to do. Just neglect the mind, don't listen to the mind, and push the mind towards devotional service. You have to watch your mind. You have to realize you're not the mind. As you're not the body, you're also not the mind, which is a subtle part of the body anyway. So this is the nectar of instructions, the first verse, which sets the stage for the rest of the teachings. If you don't do that, the second verse says you become victimized by 6 things: atyahara, prayasa, prajalpa, niyamagraham, janasanga, and lauyam. These are the victim. If you don't control those 6 pushings, then you become victimized by these things. And if you do control them, then how to control them? By practicing the third verse: enthusiasm, determination, patience, hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, giving up the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So these first 3 verses are connected to the sequence of how a devotee develops. And the 4th verse talks about the loving exchanges between the devotees, how to relate to the devotees, how to relate to, revealing one's mind in confidence, hearing others' confidential thoughts, giving a gift, receiving gifts, giving prasadam and receiving prasadam is the 6 loving exchanges between Vaishnavas. Study that nectar instructions. It's really powerful. It's the essence of the nectar of devotion given in 11 verses.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you for your question, Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu. Maharaj, we are close to the end of your 15 minutes. I want to respect that. And I would like to thank devotees for really asking a lot of questions. I had a hunch that this topic would create questions about service. So it's nice to see so many questions. And Maharaj, thank you for giving us your time and being patient with us to answering these amazing questions on service.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Only by your mercy, Maharaj. Only by your mercy.
Well, I took the opportunity and you gave it. So
It's because you are giving me mercy to allow you to serve you, Maharaj, in any small way. So thank you so much. Thank you.
With nobody to talk to, what could I do?
We will jam up the WhatsApp for them to join.
Anasuya, I need to speak to you. Can I give you a phone call after?
Yes,
the
Marge. Absolutely. Absolutely, Marge. Yes.
class?
And thank you all so much. Yes, Marge.
Yeah, thank you for
Oh,
hosting, and thank you for all the devotees to come on to hear and chant the glories of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, is to hear and chant the glories of Krishna and his feature as the personality of Godhead.
thank you, Marge. And thank you to all the devotees for joining us. Vanchakapdibhyascha, Kripasindhabhevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhya, Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai,
His Holiness Candramauli Swami ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol. Have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Krishna
you,
Guru
Guru Maharaj.
Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji. Hare
Mataji.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Anasuya.